Hey, well, tonight I'm angry at the states lying, and this lying was brought to my attention specifically yesterday, the 22nd of September, when the Truth in Accounting organization published this report. This is the cover of the report, and I will link to a PDF of it below. You can peruse it at your leisure. But basically what they point out is that in spite of the fact that 49 of the states require a balanced budget, these balanced budgets are only being achieved through accounting, subterfuge, and sleight of hand. Specifically, state governments, thanks to GASB, this group, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, which is different from the normal accounting board, GASB has ruled only recently that states even need to disclose long-term obligations. For example, GASB 68 only came out in the middle of 2012, and GASB 75 only in the middle of 2015. And basically what these two recommendations were that states start disclosing what their obligations are, both for pensions and for post-employment benefits. And the numbers are horrifying. Here's a graph to give you some perspective. So this is just healthcare, and you can see that for all the states combined, the total healthcare promises total $663 billion, of which only $46 billion exists. In other words, they've only saved or put aside $46 billion out of $600 odd billion in obligations. And because they only have to disclose what they actually spend each year, we never get to see what the long-term cost of these obligations are. If you sign a contract that obligates a city to pay teachers a 3% increase year after year, you can't just look at this year's expense as an expense. You have to extrapolate that into the future, that future obligation. And as I pointed out earlier, the GASB, the Government Accounting Standards Board, they only started asking states to disclose these pension and non-pension retirement benefits about 5 years ago. This stuff has been going on for decades. Only recently have they decided that we should be alerted to the facts. So what are the facts? What does this Truth in Accounting organization find? So this is the summary of what Truth in Accounting found, and these are the 5 worst states: New Jersey, Illinois, Connecticut, Hawaii, and Massachusetts. And these are the worst states from worst to least worst, or I should just say less worse. Now, what they're showing in this 57,900 amount is what it would require from every taxpayer to pay the bills that exist today. In other words, if New Jersey owes somebody $100 next year, that $100 is counted as being owed, as a debt. How do New Jersey's bills look? Well, here's a summary. You can see that New Jersey's got $60 billion in bonds, $20 billion in other liabilities, $95 billion in unfunded pension benefits, unfunded retiree healthcare benefits, $76 billion, total bills of $214 billion. How does that compare to what they have in assets? Well, you can see that they are short about $190 billion, which works out to $57,900 per taxpayer. That's where this image comes from, $57,900 per taxpayer. That is because New Jersey, among many other states, has not recognized the cost of their future promises. And these aren't even future promises. These are promises that have actually already been made, representing future payments that the state has obligated itself to make. $57,000 for every taxpayer in New Jersey. This doesn't even count their share of the federal debt. But my point is not so much how bad this debt is. My point is, why are the states allowed to withhold this information from us? I recommend highly that you read this Truth in Accounting PDF. As I said, it will be linked below. It's very readable. It's not designed to be arcane and esoteric. It makes its points very clearly. And you can see that this is an unsurmountable problem. COVID-19, this data was compiled before the effects of COVID-19. So you can imagine a state like New Jersey and all the other states are in a much worse shape today than they were before. The Truth in Accounting organization is advocating something called FACT. Here is what it stands for: Full Accrual Calculations and Techniques. It moves beyond cash basis. It gives you a truthful accounting. Please go to their website. support their efforts. GASB has been very slow to react to the fact that these states have been disguising their true financial condition from us, and we are too oblivious to know what's going on. Read this Truth in Accounting report. You'll see that the state's finances are far worse than we've been led to believe. It's in a very readable form. You have no excuse for remaining uninformed. I mean, you can consider it fake media, Trump media, anti-Trump media. I don't care what you consider it. Just educate yourself, read the facts, and wake up.